Good afternoon, my News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for January 25, 2024. And in the news this afternoon, Bunting confirms he will contest the Manchester Southern for PNP. Former Member of Parliament Peter Bunting has confirmed that he will be contesting the Manchester Southern constituency at the next parliamentary elections for the People's National Party. For months, there has been speculation that the former Manchester Central MP was headed to the neighboring constituency of Manchester Southern to challenge the Jamaica Labour Party's Robert Chin. However, Bunting on Sunday confirmed his decision to return to representational politics. After being asked a number of times, I will say that I was reluctant to go back into representational politics. After I was convinced that the people of South Manchester deserve a better MP than the one they have now. After I was convinced of that and I said all right, they gave me the time, I dealt with my personal business. Time come now to hit the road in South Manchester, Bunting told the PNP supporters at a meeting in Porous, Manchester on Sunday. A video of his announcement has been posted on the PNP's Manchester Southern Facebook page. Bunting lost to the ruling JLP's Rhoda Crawford in the September 3, 2020 general election. Crawford polled 8,139 votes over Bunting's 6,989 votes. Bunting had won 3 consecutive times in Manchester Central from 2007, along with another triumph in Clarendon South Eastern, his first over former Prime Minister Hugh Lawson's share in the 1993 general election. Aunt of Shinika Gray responded to guilty verdict for niece's convicted killer. I am tired, I am weary, but even though I am crying, I am joyful. We are overjoyed. That was the immediate reaction of Nikita Gray, the aunt of 15-year-old Shinika Gray, who was stabbed to death in 2017, moments after a 7-member jury issued a guilty verdict yesterday for taxi operator Gregory Roberts, the man who was on trial for the teenager's murder. Outside of a brief and barely controlled sobbing fit when the verdict was issued, before presiding High Court Justice Bertram Morrison, the elder Gray was largely composed as she spoke on behalf of the family regarding their reaction to the verdict. The jury, consisting of 4 men and 3 women, arrived at the verdict after 85 minutes of deliberation, following the close of Justice Morrison's summation of the case. We have been fighting this, and it has been 7 years, and I think 7 was the number because it has been 7 weeks we've been doing this, and we're in the 7th year, and let me tell you, I know normally we were supposed to have 12 jurors, but there were 7, Gray told the news. I think they made the best decision of putting away Gregory Roberts. Gregory does not need to be on the road, otherwise we would have similar occurrences, Gray added. He came and he created a show in the courtroom. He tried to take over the case, and I sat there and watched Roberts' defense team as they put together their case and tried to put in some things that were not relevant. But today justice prevailed. Prior to the verdict being announced, Justice Morrison concluded his instructions as to how the jury should conduct their deliberations by reminding them that they must consider all the evidence which has been presented since the trial began on November 23, 2023. You have to decide if his defense has been made out. Is it that Gregory Roberts, in his innocence, is saying that he was framed? You put that side by side with what the witnesses were saying. You must decide if you can on a unanimous verdict, that is to say, a verdict on which you all agree, said Morrison. He is not obliged to prove his innocence, but you are to take into consideration what he has said. If you are left in doubt as to whether he was involved in the killing of young Shinika Gray, that doubt will have to be resolved in his favor, Morrison added. Even if you reject his version of events, you will still have to go back to the prosecution's case to be sure if you are satisfied. When the jury later gave its verdict, Roberts sat down calmly in the prisoner's dock and watched the proceedings, although at one point he leaned in to whisper to his attorney Chuma Paris. But Gray was not quite so calm, as she made it clear what she hopes for Roberts, whose sentencing hearing will be relocated from the St. James Circuit Court to take place before the Trelawney Circuit Court on March 7. I am praying for a maximum of anything. He stood there, he had a chance to say what it was, and he refused. Maximum of anything, that's what Gregory deserves, Grace said resolutely. The verdict comes 5 days short of the 7th anniversary of Shinika Grace's death after she was stabbed multiple times in Irwin, St. James on the night of January 29, 2017. Her body was found 3 days later on February 1 that year. In a tragic case of irony, the younger Gray, who was a grade 10 student of the Green Pond High School in St. James, was last seen alive on January 29, 2017, while returning home from the funeral of a schoolmate. During Roberts' trial, the prosecution presented evidence from 16 witnesses to include testimony from communication analysts, as well as a cell phone text messaging logs and call data in the hours leading up to the fatal night of January 29, 2017. Several of the text messages which were shown throughout the trial included increasingly threatening messages between Roberts and his ex-girlfriend, as well as between Roberts and the ex-girlfriend's mother, suggesting that he was going to make a sacrifice, suggesting that he was going to video record himself doing something ominous, and accusing the ex-girlfriend of conning money from him and refusing to repay it. A civilian witness also told the trial that Roberts came to him sporting bloodstains on his hands and the shirt, and that he showed the witness a video of himself, Roberts, stabbing the teenager. Additionally, the court heard evidence from Mario Morrison, Roberts' former co-defendant in the matter, who pleaded guilty in September 2022, that Roberts had him record the incident after they picked up young Gray in Montego Bay and took her to Irwin. Increasingly, in his unsworn statement from the prisoner's dock, Roberts told the court that he had been hired to provide transportation to Morrison and the 2 other persons on the night of Gray's death. However, Roberts did not mention Gray at any point in his account of events. Flare up among family members enraged by youngster's passing. Tensions flared yesterday at the scene of a suspected drowning at the Kingston harbor as the family members publicly expressed anger at how a son who longed for love met his demise while swimming on Tuesday. Dead is 12-year-old Karif Michener, who attended Tivoli Gardens High School. Michener, a resident of East Kingston, reportedly went swimming on Tuesday by the waterfront after school with 2 other boys. According to eyewitnesses, the boys got into difficulty in the turbulent water, and the 2 of them were assisted to safety. However, Michener submerged and could not be found. Them say him help one of them and come up and go back in for the next one and couldn't help himself. Them try, but because him never have on any shirt, them couldn't hold him. A friend of his mother said within earshot of onlookers and our news team. The family's worst fears materialized yesterday around noon when his body washed up and he was pulled ashore. This sent grieving family members into anguish and the tempers flared, causing the police to intervene. Michener's grandmother, Maswin Pam Millwood, told the news that her immediate feeling was just to sleep and never wake again. Me get a call this morning, say 3 of them jump off, and they only save 2, and they can't find one. Me tell myself say nothing was wrong with him. Get in his school bag this morning and his shoes. Me I say something is wrong. Him can't swim, Millwood said. Millwood said that she was disturbed that her children chose to air their dirty laundry in public, knowing that Michener wanted love and she tried her best and wanted everyone to join in. This is not the time for fussing. I don't grow him, but I play my part. Him have another set of family on his father's side. I was trying to reach everybody if he play a role and show him some love. I have him at home, send him at school, $700 a day. But when you live in a tenement yard and other people have kids, you have to be careful because things will happen, and them will say you're a child when it's not, Millwood said as she sought to break down the state of affairs surrounding the child. He once lived at 56 Text Lane in central Kingston, but relocated to 114 Mountain View Avenue. His grandmother said that Michener had literacy challenges, but took time overcoming them with the help of her partner. Him no rude, but him same lack love, so we understand. And what I said to his mother is to show him some love. Carry him down to the waterfront, hug him up. You want him take a sea breeze, play with him. carry him at Devon house and you and him eat ice cream. Rub little cream on him nose and kiss him and say you love him, make him see, Millwood told the news. She said her grandson was resented by others who should have been standing by him, begging him to prove them wrong. Show them you can be somebody. Me not sleep all now. I was hoping they find him alive and he learned a lesson. That was my hope. I'm a pay him school fee, my boss helped me, and I don't do everything for him, she said, adding that she could cope with his behavior, which was in line with boys his age. Millwood said that a missionary did not want her to send him to live with anyone else, but she had no choice. I have to work and come home every Friday, but if he was hearing when I talk, maybe he would be at home. But you know, kids all over. He wasn't a child that was disrespectful. He was a respectful child, Millwood said. She said he said that he wanted to be an FBI agent. With all this chaos, my mood is like to go to sleep and never wake up. That is my mood for now. Sleep and never wake up, Millwood said, glancing at her children at odds, separated in a time of grief. Onlookers told the news that the authorities need to put signage in the area prohibiting swimming. This is not the first time people, including children, drown there. If there is no sign, then people will think it is safe to go for a swim. A lot of evening children go there, and some go into the water, a male passerby said. The Kingston Central Police are probing the incident.